This is one you have to understand to truly understand premium pricing, because a lot of people think only rich people spend premium prices. And that is not true at all. By the way, I have found almost no link for most markets between how much money somebody has and their propensity to buy the premium price version of it. Okay. So Apple is, I think they're still the most profitable company in the world. They certainly were before the bloodbath that they've took, in recent time, right? The iPhone is a luxury good. The Apple Store is a luxury store, okay? But it's not luxury in the same sense that, a $17,000 Cartier watch is, or even a $500 Gucci belt, right? A $500 Gucci belt is like 10, 15 times the price. Most luxury goods are 10 or 15 times the price of what normal goods are. Part of being a luxury good is nobody else can afford it. The exclusivity is part of what makes it so good. People buy it because they know most people can't buy it. And there's some value to that for certain people, right? But everybody can buy an iPhone. Poor college kids have iPhones, right? Oh, that's interesting, Denise. Yeah. It is an appropriate way to charge more. I'll talk more about that in a second. Angela, can you flag that? We'll break that down a little bit more. That's fascinating. It's interesting. So everyone spends with irrational exuberance on something. By the way, every purchasing decision is done irrationally. People think about price irrationally. We have this problem, cognitively speaking, that it doesn't allow us to think about price very accurately. So usually we make decisions based on very, very interesting biases in the brain that make us feel a certain way to something. But the reality is everyone spends with irrational exuberance on something. So if you're the only one that offers the market the ability to spend with irrational exuberance, then you get all the benefit. And in most markets, that opportunity is left wide open. Now, where did I come up with the term irrational exuberance? Does anybody recognize where that's from? It's a very specific place that I cribbed that term from. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Greenspan, Alan Greenspan, right? So there was a period of time, I was a young buck back then, where he described the state of the economy as we were being irrationally exuberant. I'm like, God, that's the best phrase ever to describe this. So that's what I think of. So that's the meta economy. That's the whole macro. There are micro economies right now that are always going through that, where people are spending with irrational exuberance. Oh, he said it again last week. That's fascinating. Irrational exuberance. I think of these hobbyists, so there's these Magic the Gathering, the card game. So this is like, you play, it's what they call a collectible card game. So these guys will buy these packs, and it's an actual game where they'll compete with other decks, and they try to beat other decks, and it has this very complex set of rules, right? Now, most of the kids and adults that play Magic the Gathering and other types of card games like these, they are not exactly on the upper end of the economic spectrum. Most of them are probably lower end. Most of them are below the middle class. Let's put it that way, right? But the average Magic the Gathering user spends something like $2,000 to $5,000 a year on cards. Isn't that crazy? That's irrational exuberance. So these T-shirts, these sneakerheads these days, like these Yeezys. You ever seen the Yeezys? They're like, people are irrationally exuberant with buying these sneakers that drop these days. And these kids who barely have any money are dropping $300 on a pair of sneakers, or $250 or $400 on a pair of sneakers. Not just one, multiple pairs of sneakers. And if you add it all up, you could say, how could that person spend $4,000, $6,000 a year when they're not even above the poverty line, right? It's because they have an irrational exuberance around the thing. And so money is not a constraint for irrational exuberance. Now, we can judge, we could talk about the morality of this and the ethical concern about this, and we could criticize people for their consumerism and their behaviors, right? That's a whole different thing. I'm not even going to get into that. I don't really I don't really care about that, honestly. I found there's a lot of things in life that are not worth being outraged about because they don't do anything for anybody to be upset at them. I used to be a lot more angrier than I am now these days, right? I just realized that for all of us, every single one of us, we have something where we realize that we are spending a lot more money on it than we should, and we continue to do it, and we're okay with it. We realize it's irrational, but we enjoy it so much that we continue to do it anyway. And we're all like that. We're all like that for something. We all have some sort of thing where we spend with irrational exuberance. And it's not a problem for us. That's just the thing that we decide that's where we're going to spend a lot of our money with. And so you should be that solution to your market. You should understand the people who do that. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Dan brings up the point about microtransactions for games. So certain gamers will end up spending thousands and thousands of dollars just to get a slight edge in a mobile game or a video game, right? Fortnite, they will spend with irrational exuberance for cosmetics, skins, and dances that have nothing to do with actually improving the gameplay. Because they're so excited about the play, they're so enjoyable with their experience that they will do this. Now, there's a dark side to this, as there is with anything, right? A gun can save a life or a gun can take a life, right? You can manipulate somebody and feed on those with addictive personalities and use a lot of game theory and design to take advantage of people and exploit them, right? I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't want to build a business where we have to trick people in to spending money with us and get them addicted to it, right? I don't want to sell the next type of cigarette that 50 years down the line people realize, oh, that thing that we said was healthy? Yeah, that's killing people, right? Let's not do that anymore. But the same kind of concept can be done with a positive slant, which is if I'm irrationally exuberant about something, then I'm really excited about it, and it doesn't cause me harm to spend my money there, and it actually increases my experience and value and my happiness, okay, now we're talking, right? So I paid Joe Polish $100,000 a year to be part of Genius X. Now, I will tell you, 100K, as we call it, is not 4 times better than 25K, which was the program he had before 100K, right? I would even argue that today, 100K is not as good as 25K. Because 25K has had 10 years of experience. 25K is a very well-oiled machine at this point. It's a tight-knit community, and 100K is still finding its legs. So why would I pay 4 times as much for something that is slightly less than the 25K? And I'll tell you why. Because I just want more. I don't even care. I want to be able to come to more. I can come to 6 25K meetings now instead of just 2. Because that's part of my 100K membership. And I get 3 more meetings at 100K. I just like the fact that I can go to more meetings. They didn't have to be better meetings. Now, sometimes they are, and they're getting better. And certainly very soon I know they're going to be better. But even if they never got better, even if they were consistently worse than 25K, I would still spend $100,000 a year with Joe. We actually spent $150 because now I'm having Will come and I'm having Dolan come, right? Simply because I like more. I'm irrationally exuberant about masterminds. And if he deprived me of that, it's not like he would be doing me a favor by not allowing me to pay him $100,000. Most of your audience, you are doing them a disservice by not offering them a way to exercise their irrational exuberance. So see what happens. Worst case scenario, you try it out, you make a bunch of money, you say, yeah, this isn't for me, and then you can go back to the old way.